Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. The AC is going in the background, so I'm sorry about that. There's not really much I can do to stop it. I can't really raise my voice in this one. But I want to say this briefly about Girl Dad. You saw the title. There's some girl dads that don't have sons and some who do. And girl dads can be honest and they can be deceitful. They can be either one. If you were not a part of this problem and you're a girl dad, don't take offense. I'm not here to blame I'm not here to blame the innocent nor exonerate the guilty. But like Jesus is quoted to have said, and you know what I'm going to tell you, I came not to bring peace but a sword, and to cause division. But it's on a moral grounds, on a moral basis, and it always has been. First thing I want to say about girl dads is, gentlemen, understand that the bad attitude of the wicked witch of the West today you can compare to a weed. But each weed has its seed and its soil and its water. Now, in this analogy, the soil and the water are pretty much the same thing. It's the environment. The seed is just what the women want naturally, which is not really wrong in the first place. It's just a want. But again, the environment turns that want into an expectation and the demand. We all want certain things that aren't realistic, but they turn and they expect and they demand certain things, these ladies. And this is where this is where the flux comes about. The damage is done. And I myself, I'm tired. You ought to be tired of this too. My daughters, though I love them very much, have been made very aware that real men in life are not going to automatically have the things they want men to have. It never was that way. It never worked that way. My daughters have to understand, and I told them this at a young age, especially the oldest. I explained to them at a young age, those Disney movies are entertainment. Enjoy them, but never, ever for 1 second forget that they are not real. The minute you forget that they're not real, it's over. Your life is ruined. The only thing that we men have done wrong, and I've said this before, is that we men have made things too easy, sexually and non-sexually. And some say, well, how so sexually? Well, it's very simple. You got men that are willing to do all sorts of non-sexual things for women that would never even so much as validate them sexually. And when I say validate, mind you, it's Ramadan. I'm fasting. I'm not here to promote fornication, but we're talking about men who are doing things for women that don't even acknowledge a man's right to marry someone else that's attractive. Like doing all these non-sexual favors for women that actually want you to be a eunuch. They don't want to be with you. They don't want anybody else to be with you, in or outside of a marriage. Sometimes they're fine with you marrying as long as they can get the woman to agree to not do anything for you. I kid you not. Now that's one way that men make things too easy, non-sexually. But the other way is oftentimes girl dads. She's your princess. She's special to you. No one blames you for loving her, but that does not mean you have the right to not tell her the truth because it don't feel good. No, you got to tell her exactly what your wife does not want you to tell her about men and about real life and about what's waiting out there and about the nature of limited resources for which they have an unlimited desire. This goes for me too. I've known the importance of this for a while, but I get stunned every so often about, or get stunned by how many other girl dads do not realize the importance of this. And I'm going to give a shout out to one girl dad, Jay Christy-Powell. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Gentlemen, that's one man, girl dad, that knows how to love a daughter without ruining her. That's one example. My son has seen this, the effects of it. My son has seen what happens when you've got these ladies that have been validated by men they're not related to sexually, and then non-sexually as well by dads who, of course, should validate them, but spoil them too and don't tell them the truth and don't prepare them, for which a lot of problems develop and come about. My son has seen the results of this. My son knows what happens. And what winds up happening, of course, is they drive men away, and they do it at a young age. And these young cats right now, they're coming up and they're seeing these women on OnlyFans. These young cats right now are coming up and they're seeing these women on TikTok and whatever else y'all got, you young whippersnappers. They see these ladies out here showing all of this in order to get extra money, and they're unhappy. They understand the stats as to how many women need psychotropic medications. They know it's bad. And guess what? They've lost their interest. While remaining heterosexual at the core, they've still lost their interest, because what trumps that biological imperative? The need to stay alive yourself. The need to stay safe yourself. Food and water trump that biological imperative. They doing me too. And that's why when fasting time comes around, you'll see that the men are the ones that are in control and the women are the ones that do some of the suffering. So when a sister on Facebook complained about thirsty guys inboxing her in her DMs, I immediately thought, well, these guys probably ain't fasting. So in any case, I simply wanted to say that we girl dads must do our part to, while still loving them, to tell them the truth about what men in this life are going to have and are not going to have. And you cannot spoil these girls away from being somebody's freak. You might think, well, if I'm not there, they'll be out there in high school blowing dudes for gifts and things like that because I wasn't there to provide. Well, I guess that could be true, but understand, if you're there to provide but you spoil them, they're still going to turn like that. And as a matter of fact, the guy willing to give them gifts will be the one they don't want. They'll turn around and use what you're giving to them to spend on the guy that ain't willing to do none of these things for these women. So while you spoiling and loving up on them and not teaching them, man, look, mark my words, when it comes to college, they're going to pick not only a good college, but a good college far away from you. That's what they're going to do, because they're going to want to go buck wild. They're still created beings, and they have their lust. They're not wrong for having their lust. But they're not going to look and say, well, let me do this in a way that honors the family, and none of that stuff. They're going to look and say, man, I want to go to this school. I want to become this independent woman with a good degree and a good job and all that. But in the meantime, these dudes will give me the ding-a-ling, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it back on a few of them. And the ones I want, I will give them gifts. If he's got to give me a gift to screw him, I don't want him. I'll give gifts to the one. So what my dad is giving me, I'm going to turn around and spend on these other dudes. Make no bones about this. They're coming for you. Oh yeah, your daughter is coming for you if you spoil her. You get her a car. Okay, that's nice of you. Guess what she's going to do with that car? She's going to drive to see men that you would have never approved of. And if you would have approved of them, she wouldn't be driving to see them. Because that's what the soil and the water do to the seed in this environment. And even though you're not trying to turn your daughter or her attitude into the weed that is the bad attitude of entitlement, you still can be a part of that soil and water unknowingly, mistakenly, unintentionally. So we must remember to love our daughters and still tell them the honest to God truth about what's out there waiting on them. Normal men with limited resources. And that they ain't special enough to have some kind of fairy tale from a movie come true. Thank you for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout. Assalamu alaikum. A blessed Ramadan to those of you fasting. Black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it. And black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.